Good day to you. My name is Mene Kądzielska and this is Poland Daily Culture. And today more Poland Daily buildings and residents, because we will talk about the market and what's behind the facades and all the questions which usually we don't ask ourselves. With us as expert Craig Smith. Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, it's great to be on, and we always like to talk about real estate.
Yeah, and our buildings are of course, the element of culture as well, because of the architect and everything who built it, you're selling it, who's renovating it, and especially in Eastern Europe and in Central Europe, when it's always so complex because we have a lot of old buildings that need to be changed or.
Sure.
So, what's going on currently in the market in our part of the world?
Right. Well, there's a lot actually going on, and I would say during really the last 2 years of COVID lockdown, everyone's at home. Actually, the commercial real estate sector was out remodeling, rebuilding. Most of the hotels that had to close down, a lot of them just remodeled the whole hotel. So
that's interesting. So they used this time of lockdown when there were much fewer visitors or none.
Yes.
To rechange.
Yeah, to refurbish the hotel. A lot of them did, if they had the money, and it was, it's all timing as well. So if many of the hotel owners we know. And I would say even if they were planning to do something in the next 2 to 3 years, they probably did it in that particular time. So a lot was happening there. I would say a lot of the office buildings also were being refurbished and are being refurbished more towards more employee-friendly conditions. I would say in the past it was always more client-friendly conditions, a nice reception area, nice meeting room, and now it's probably more for the employees to get them to come back.
Of course, because most of them want to stay home.
Exactly. Some do, yeah, for sure.
And like to come back to the office. But isn't it this element that when the offices or the companies found out that actually they can keep a lot of the employees at homes, why at all to rent an office?
Well, that's a very good question, and quite honestly, I think it depends on the sector, first of all, but in general, if people are in the office, they're more productive. So it's easier for a short period of time, you can have everyone at home. But if you're a manager and you're managing 10 people, a lot of times it's easier to manage them at the office. What are they doing? Did they come on time? Just even basic things. If they're at home, are they taking care of the dog, taking care of their sick child, doing who knows what, going shopping? So I would say most people want to come, and also most people want to come back to the office, not necessarily every day, but that they want to, meet people, they want to talk to people. Also, if you're changing the business, you need to have little meetings and just say, hey, how should we do this or how should we do that? I think if you're trying to schedule a Zoom call for next Tuesday, you miss this connectivity. So I think even companies that were happy with everyone's gone and we're going to save money on the office, well, they didn't save money on the office because they still have a lease and they have to pay the lease. But I think even now when I talk to many of the big corporate users, they're changing the space, not necessarily getting less or getting more, but just changing it for the new reality which is coming.
And that's
here, yeah.
And it's a kind of a mixed reality in a way that usually people want to have it a little bit at home, a little bit in the office, and now with more Ukrainians coming as well, so more new employees.
That's right.
Who might also want to go out because they don't have their own full place to stay or the big apartments.
Yeah, you need room, right? You need a room for your, let's say, office. And if you don't have that and you're working on the kitchen table for the last 10 months, maybe you're ready to come back to the office. So I think, and what I also see is in even just humanity or the way people act is there's always that 10% or 20% of the employees that want to do well, that want to get promoted, that want to move up in the company. And I think those will be the people that will come back to the office anyway because they want to move up. If you're sitting at home, even if you're doing your job and the boss doesn't see you, they're asking someone else to help, right? Whoever's physically there. So I think we'll see a lot of those people coming back to the office. And of course, it depends on the sector. I know some of the IT people will say, no, we want to work at home forever, and they're probably fine there.
So when it comes to the hotels, it's the other thing. Is it any change that who survived the pandemic?
Well, it seemed, surprisingly, it seems like almost everybody survived. The hotels, whether it's in Warsaw or we were just in Budapest for 2 weeks, in Vienna, I know many of the hotel managers and the owners, and they're all saying, hey, we either are at 80% or even 90% occupancy now. So the business is coming back. More people are going to go there on, let's say they missed a couple of holidays, so they want to stay at the hotel. So I would say right now it's kind of, let's say, boom time for a lot of the hotels. They're having weddings. I was just talking to the people in the hotels here in Warsaw, and they're like, look, every Saturday we have a wedding already planned. And probably before the pandemic, people were looking at other places for weddings, and now everything is full. So it's I'd say for most
after
hotels.
This dry time, I would say, of pandemic, there was nothing going on, and they used this time for constructions.
A lot of them did, yes.
And now it's boom, and everything is flourishing.
I would say in most cases, yes. If you're looking out of the capital cities, maybe they're still having some difficult times in Poland or Central Eastern Europe. But of course, anywhere where there's tourism going, whether it's in the south with the mountains or north with the sea, is constantly busy. And it seems like the Polish hotels have just doubled the prices anyway. So
that's a little bit true. We put a point here, of course, but it seems like a lot of things is back to life after the times of pandemic when it was frozen and stopped. And ask yourself a question: are you planning any big event? Are you right now more in the mood for vacation or visiting places? And of course, what is your approach to offices? We're waiting for your comments and which you are thinking. And again, thank you very much for watching our show, and stay with us for another episode.